Hello everybody, it's the 25th of March today, and welcome to part 2 of this video detailing the repot and trim of this Hornbeam raft. The last video, part 1, will have seen me wrench it out of this belly pot, trim the roots, raise up a little more of the trunk and roots out of the soil so that it's can be seen better, and you will also have saw that I found the dreaded vine weevil in the root ball. I've ordered some nematodes which are due to arrive at the end of the week, so hopefully by then the weather will have warmed up a little bit, and then I can give all my pots a good drenching with that, and hopefully kill off any lurking grubs that are in there. I've repotted quite a number of trees and I've only found one grub so far, which is encouraging. It means that I seem to be getting a handle on the vine weevil situation. In other years I've had a lot, and well, it means that I'm gradually getting on top. You can't stop them coming in. If they're going to come in from elsewhere, they'll come in, but you keep hammering away at it. Eventually you can keep it under control, I think. A quick view of the trunk and its branches, the old trunk and its old branches, which are now of course the root base and new trunks, and yeah, a little more exposed each year. It's an interesting feature, I think. First thing I want to do is get rid of all these old leaves, so that I can actually see the branch and trunk structure better. I really should have done this earlier, but they do give the tree a modicum of protection, but they also make the tree look very young, because it's only on juvenile trees or juvenile growth that they hold their leaves. If you look at a mature hornbeam, full-grown mature hornbeam in the wild, they don't hold their leaves. So same with beeches. So if you have all this leaf structure, and you know that, I suppose. If you don't know that, it doesn't matter, but if you know that, you realise that what you've got is juvenile growth, which makes it look somewhat less convincing as a bonsai, perhaps. Plus, I like to see the twigginess. So I'll pluck the rest of this tree off camera so as not to bore you. Okay, so I think I said in part 1 of this video that this is my preferred front, but this is also, I think, a good front as well. Maybe one day this tree would look nice in a round pot, because it has a certain depth from all angles, but yeah, no, I think I like it in this oval pot. So essentially today I'm gonna just be doing some routine winter spring maintenance. We have a branch here, we have a piece that's shooting back across in the wrong direction, as it were, which I'll just remove, and shorten a few of these long pieces. I'm just going to move you in and show you where I'm trying to thicken up some additional branches to become extra trunks, as it were. I hope you can pick up, I've had a piece of wire holding this branch into this position, and I've gradually been sort of coaxing it to grow up through the middle and become a central trunk, because we had kind of a gap there where the the old trunk was. And likewise here we have a branch coming off that I've also been growing upwards and into a central position. So I'm going to leave those to encourage some thickening whilst I remove some of these long straight branches that are growing back and just straight and boring, or growing in the wrong direction, or risking blocking light to other branches that I want to develop. So I've got a number of smaller trunks, sub branches, sub trunks coming out that are going to be also pretty much left to develop a little bit more thickness and trim back during the summer, perhaps, to not get out of control. I also want to remove this piece of wire, which should have done its job by now before it cuts in. Like so. Not a very long piece of wire, but straightened out, it can do a little job like that. Waste not, want not. Wire is expensive, and with the cost of living crisis, all the more so, or all the more reason rather to save it where you can. I'm going to take this piece off. So again, I think it's done its job. Yes, it's holding that tree quite nicely. But this trunk, I want to come in a little more, so I'm going to put the wire like so. And that piece isn't going to be long enough. It's going to hold those two too close together. So I'm going to need to find a longer piece, or a thicker piece that can be looped. Okay. Hopefully this isn't just a jumble of branches, but I'm going to put a little loop around that and pull that, if I can hold on to it, pull that tree more into the center of the pot and loop it around the other one. It's better, and I think I have an outward facing bud here. If I prune back to that, there, that should come off in this direction, and I'm going to prune this one back, and hopefully they will grow one away from t'other. We shall see. If needs be, I can always put a piece of wire on at a later date. Okay, so I won't bore you too much with this. I'm just going to cut back, crossing, and trim back the apex on a couple of these trees, trunks, individual pieces, and I'll speed that all up so that you don't have to be bored by it all. I think that's about it. I think I've eliminated all the pieces that are crossing, competing, shading out, maybe not. Trying to keep the apexes from becoming too overcrowded, so I don't want the apexes to thicken. I'm gonna move one of these two pieces, and I think it's going to be this one. Better, and I think I'll take out that piece as well. These branches, trunks, call them what you will, they are indeed branches now, I guess, are becoming quite top heavy, apically dominant, and so they are going to have to be watched, and that piece can come off just because it's ugly. Okay, there we have it. So hopefully this was a little bit shorter than the last part. We'll come back and look at it some more later in the year, see how it's developing, but for now I think that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, subscribing and the commenting below, but most of all, please take care of yourselves.